This is David Wallace, and in today's news, the U.S. is working on organizing party talks with North Korea in an attempt to work out the issues that the U.S. and other countries have had with that country. Kim Jong-un has continued to threaten both the U.S. and other superpowers, and diplomacy is what the U.S. and the UN would like to take in order to work out with them while also avoiding any military conflict. How well will the party talk work for the involved countries? I recently had an interview with Kim Pouv, a North Korean diplomat who has volunteered for this interview to talk about his country's problems and to hopefully resolve any military conflict that could potentially happen. Kim Pouv, do you think that the party talk will benefit North Korea?
Personally, I don't think that this will help benefit North Korea. We are a proud people of Korea. We do not need any sort of help, nor do we need simply change since we are simply the best.
What benefit do you want from the party talks?
North Korea wants to be able to get along with the other countries, but with North Korea being limited, I want North Korea to not be treated as the cause of these problems.
Now, if the U.S. was of your country's belief that Juche, would relations improve, do you think?
Juche is the ideal philosophy. Juche should be a global ideal where everyone has independence and self-reliance, and if the U.S. uses this, it would guarantee an improvement in relations.
But the thing is, your country offers little to no freedom. How does this belief actually seem in your country?
What ideas do you consider helpful to our country in our current situation then?
Well, the U.S. wants to work following diplomacy, and so by learning aspects of your country's culture like Juche, I think we should work out the issues properly. Even though that North Korea is communist, the ability it has had with its independence has showed that it has some democratic ideas that can be stressed further.
So even if that may be true, North Korea is communist, and we will not change our ideals no matter how closely related they are.
So if an agreement is able to be reached between all the countries involved in the party talk, do you think that North Korea will follow the agreement? And if trade restrictions were able to be taken off, would relations with North Korea improve at all?
If it goes in North Korea's favor and we have no other option, Korea will indeed follow. And for the idea of trade restriction, Korea would benefit greatly for the idea that new resources are available.
Do you think that your government is in a crisis situation or in a positive situation?
What do you mean by a crisis situation? North Korea is in great shape both culturally and economically. Our government is very positive, that's what you're asking.
I know that North Korea has the second largest military force in the world, but I'm not sure that it won't improve the impression to anybody in this discussion.
Our military is a symbol of our country. We put forth a great amount of effort into it. Our military is just so that we are prepared. We care for the safety of our people.
Now, in the rest of the world, though, your country and people are said to be impoverished. The U.S. understands that your country wants Juche, but do people of North Korea have to suffer from the poverty?
The people of Korea are in poverty only because we do not give a steady flow of income and no support at any other country besides China. We do what we can for our people.
Now, it has always seemed that anything the rest of the world does in order to work with Korea has been called actions that are trying to degrade and overrun Korea. That has not been the case in our intentions, and we have tried to work with the countries involved in at least invasive and enforceable ways.
Well then, please, if you think your ideas can help benefit North Korea, what can the Sixth Party Talk do that will benefit our country since all other past actions resulted and ended badly?
Well, I feel that it was in your culture's intentions, and it will be able to work out all the problems we've had in the past, while also trying to improve the relations in the future.
Then whatever ideas you consider, we, as North Korea, will consider.
Juche is a strong point that we want to stress, and I think that by learning your culture even further, we will be able to do that in the end.
If you understand what Juche really means, then what will benefit North Korea, we would really appreciate that.
We understand that you want independence in your country, and you don't want to help the rest of the world, but we might have to work out some problems that we've had in the past, especially like your nuclear program.
That is true. Koreans are proud people, but we can never or consider help if needed.
Party talks work well then.
Okay, appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
Tonight, inside the world's most secretive nation, North Korea's Supreme Commander Kim Jong-un is threatening thermonuclear war against the United States.
지지들 사정 없이 부담이 가져갈 것입니다.
With tensions escalating, Panorama spends 8 days undercover inside the most rigidly controlled nation on Earth.
So, welcome to the real North Korea.
A landscape bleak beyond words, and a regime apparently marching towards Armageddon.
이제 도발자들은 임의 순간에 보복의 불벼락을 면치 못할 것이다.
But is this talk of war for real? Or a regime afraid for its own survival, playing a shadow game?
We may see a thermonuclear war. I'm sure it's not the North Koreans' plan to unleash that kind of a thing. But it might come to that as a result of a disastrous miscalculation.
We're flying into the strangest nation on Earth. Unstable, paranoid, aggressive. And after its latest nuclear test in February, even China, its...
Now, we know that John Kerry is headed for Beijing. Many South Koreans wondering if diplomacy is going to begin to step in here next week. Miguel?
Jim, if the North Koreans actually do fire off one or both of these missiles that they're loading up on the East Coast, how big a step, how will that be viewed by the South and by the U.S.?
Well, they all anticipate it very much, and they know that Kim Il-sung, he was the founding leader of North Korea. He's adored like a god, one of the smartest people that ever walked the face of the earth if you travel to North Korea. His birthday is coming up mid-month. Might be an opportune time, but the North Koreans aren't going to launch that missile unless they're absolutely sure it works. They don't want it blowing up in their face. They don't want a failure in the face of all of this rhetoric that they've been using to heat up the peninsula. Miguel?
Jim Clancy, thank you very much.